What up? What up? Hey, listen, I had plans on getting this podcast up uh Sunday. I was up to past midnight. I was in a zone too. We're gonna talk about self-awareness today, but like it was supposed to be short. But I did a 47-minute one. And then after that, I had an appointment. So I went to my appointment and I came back and I'm like, I'm just gonna wrap it up. But then I got in the zone. I was about to make some food and I forgot about my food and everything. Like I cut everything about the veggies up and stuff, and I forgot all about that. I was just like in a zone, and next thing you know, it's like 3 hours later, three hours, and I'm gonna share my screen with you for a minute, just so you can see. And and then because I've been messing with this for I don't know how long, and so if I can find it real quick, look at this. Let me go to my meetings real quick, my recording. I just want to show y'all how long, if it's in this one. No, it's not in this. No, it's right here. I think it is. So let me just show you how long. Is it in there? No, it's not. Darn it. I gotta find it. But I'll find it and show y'all next time. Dude, I was on this. I was doing this for like 3 hours and 7 minutes. And so I was like, yeah, this bomb, this is deep. And after that, I'm like, this is bomb, this is deep. And I get it done, convert it over and stuff. And next thing you know, no sound. So I did a test with this one, and I'm hoping that I have sound. Now, I'm not 100% sure. I'm not 100, but I'm hoping I do. Because if I don't, I'm gonna be highly upset. Because I've been lollygagging with this for far too long. And I might not even got sound now. I better check right now. I might have to start this all over. Let me go to video settings real quick. Uh, 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 uh. I think I do. I'm hoping, I'm praying. It says it's working, but man, I've been, you know, I beat right there. Mm. Hey, 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 hey. And I'm representing my aunt right here with the eye of Horus and the aunt. Hey, 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 hey. That's what's up. Get conscious, get woke. The key to life. That's what the aunt mean. Hey, hey, hey. I gotta set my game up. I need that just play right through. It's like a minute time frame and stuff like that. And then the eye of Horus. You know what I mean? That's in the middle right there. Protection, health, restoration. Y'all better get woke and get conscious. You know what I mean? Humanity. Don't let them fool you. If some things is an illusion. Mm, 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 mm. We're gonna get into this in a minute. Yeah, that's what I feel that a little bit. Don't let them fool you about the serpent. It's not what you think it is. Do your math. That's why you see the serpent in Blue Cross Blue Shield healthcare, represent healthcare. Think about it. Be woke. Egyptians were the snake. Knowledge. Hey, hey, okay. Hey, go. Hey, look in the Catholic Church. They got this theater. Google it. Google the serpent in the Catholic Church. Is designed. People know. They know. Okay. Don't let them fool you about the serpent in the garden. I'm just giving you a little bit of ancient history knowledge. The garden was on Earth. Don't let them fool you. Between the Tigris, Euphrates. Pick up a book and read. All right, let's get into this. All right, let me get going. Get started. All right, so this is episode 2, Harmonic Love. We're going to be talking about self-awareness. I'm sorry for the background noise. I'm still trying to learn how to work this, and I don't know if everything's working out now. And if it don't, guess what? I'm just going to go to straight Zoom from forget the mic, forget the podcast stuff, just straight mic on MacBook, and that's just the bottom line because I need to get this information out to y'all and be able to support y'all so we can all learn together. All right. So, self-awareness, the Collaborative for Academic, School, and Social Emotional Learning, which is CASEL, they define self-awareness as the process through which all young people and adults acquire and apply knowledge, skills, and attitudes to develop healthy identities, manage emotions, and achieve personal and collective goals. Feel free, feel and show empathy for others, establish and maintain supportive relationships, and make responsible and caring decisions. So these are like I said, when I try to connect this based on the name of my channel, Harmonic Love, these are just skills that every human should have, and should work to continue to strengthen. Okay, so you'll have groups and you'll hear about these groups, and I'll be talking about one. I'm trying to push in 3 uh different videos out today because I feel like I need that do that, and I got a lot to say, and I want y'all to have the information, and I want to support for sure my students, teachers, and parents, most definitely. So you got groups trying to give you people misinformation, and they haven't even read the research, and these are if they really didn't have an agenda behind what they're saying, they would know that they need that in their workplace too. You need all these skills. The 5 core competencies for all humans beings to be able to be successful are self-awareness, self-management, social awareness, relationship skills, and responsible decision making. Okay, so as you when you hear me saying these things, you already know that these are skills that we need to have. And so we'll get into defining all those other ones as we move forward because each core competency will be an episode, but we're going to focus on the first one, and that's self-awareness. All right. So self-awareness, Castle defines it as the ability to understand one's own emotions, thoughts, and value. The abilities to understand one's own emotions, thoughts, and values, and how they influence behavior across contexts. This includes capacities to recognize one's strength and limitations with a well-grounded sense of confidence and purpose. All right. So when children and adults have these skills, these are the type of things you might see. They're able to integrate personal and social identities. They're able to identify their personal, cultural, and linguistic assets, identifying one's emotions, demonstrating honesty and integrity, linking feelings, values, and thoughts, examining prejudices and biases, experiencing self-efficacy, having a growth mindset, and developing interest and a sense of purpose. So as I go through this, I'm gonna just give you some examples what it looks like when students have these skills, when teachers have these skills, when and then when administrators have these skills, and what it looks like for districts too. All right, because we all have to be self-aware. All right, regardless of it's the individual or it's in your household, it's in your community organization or what you included in on your sports team, or in your institutional organization that you work in. All right. So in students, um, let's just say a student has test taking anxiety. All right. And so they might not have slept the night before, and so a student that has self-awareness skills because they know how they're feeling inside, they recognizing their emotions. So they may talk to their teacher about how they are feeling, and to help them relax, get some encouragement from their teacher, get some reassurance from their teacher. Um, and the And so the teacher might say, hey, these are things we worked on in class, so don't worry about it. Just, if you are if you're struggling, if your emotions are too bad, if you're still nervous, if you think you might not know something or you need a break, just let me know, or just ask some questions. I'm here to support you. All right. And but on the other hand, too, some students too might use that to get out of a test too. And so they might say things that they're sick. They might, because they're scared. They may not want to fail that test at the time, and they may not want to share that they were up late, or they might not want their teacher to know about their health issues, which is understandable. Okay, so we have to respect that too. um but it's better for children to kind of make sure they communicate how they're feeling. They don't have to label themselves, but just tell how they're feeling. And if you're a teacher who is self-aware, socially aware, and have empathy and compassion, you would recognize that. You should know that anyway if that's your student, because you should know how your student responds to certain situations, when they feeling good, when they're happy, when they're sad, when they're nervous, when they're stressed, when they're scared, when they need a break, when they need somebody to talk to, when things going on at home. Um, I feel like if you know your student and you really are in tune to their behaviors and really engage in them and build that personal relationship and connection, you should be able to recognize that as a teacher. But I mean, some don't. I mean, teachers do have a lot of things on their plate, and I understand. All right. So, so sometimes students, you know, may ask to take that assessment at another time. But even if the student does take the test and they don't do well on the test, a student who is self-aware will go to the teacher and say something like, hey, listen, I studied, I was nervous, but I know I can do better. Can I retake that test, if they fail? Because a lot, if students fail, I mean, from the schools I've worked at, when students fail, typically teachers let them retake the test. I mean, I didn't see that much in elementary, but and for sure middle school, they let them retake the test. And so I mean, and being able to recognize that you can do better. That's a growth mindset right there. Just saying, hey, listen, I didn't get sleep. I was nervous, I was anxious about that test, and I failed it. Can I retake it? Because I know I can do better. That's what growth mindset is. Being, not focusing on what you can't do, but thinking, even when you fail, you think about, okay, what can I do to get better? I know I failed this assessment, but what I'm gonna do is study a little bit harder and work to do better if she let me retake it or on the next assessment. So it doesn't even have to be just knowing that, hey, I'm going to learn to do better. That's what growth mindset is. And we all should have that, not just students, but adults also. All right. And so sometimes you might see a student who is self aware. Like I said, they'll misbehave to try to get out of class, um, get out of taking that test. And that's, we would rather for them to communicate, but I really honestly feel like, you got to engage and talk to the student and kind of figure out why. A lot of times we just look at the behavior and think a student is just being bad or being naughty or being disrespectful, but usually it's something that happened that has nothing to do with us as educators. So if you take the time to have that conversation with the student and get to where they are and meet them where they are, you might find out, hey, listen, I was acting up, but I was really nervous about that test. And I really don't feel like I can take it right now. And so what a teacher can do is just kind of talk to the student, maybe do some mindful stretches, do some mindful breathing, things like that, to help them strengthen up those skills and help them kind of just relax and be less anxious. All right. Teachers who are self-aware, though, also just they recognize their own emotions too. So when these students are misbehaving, they recognize that I'm not gonna get angry. Okay. I you know, the student is having something's going on. So I'm gonna control my emotion and you know, maybe take a break. Maybe take a break. I always encourage teachers to stop teaching for a moment and give the kids a break. Like we hit academics so hard, and these students don't have the opportunity to be kids, and it's so disappointing. And that's why SEL is important because they're lacking these skills, and so we're seeing behaviors and and just incidents that shouldn't be that's not typical for kids in middle school because they lost two I mean almost 2 years of learning. So socially there, if you're in seventh grade, you're probably like a fifth grader still socially, you know, and academically too. But if we don't get them connected with each other and give them a moment to just be kids and have conversations and build relationships, and through that dialogue they'll be able to learn how to take other kids perspective, and they will learn about other kids, their backgrounds and where they come from and what they're interested in, and find out that they have similar interests, and then they can engage and build a relationship that way. But no, what we did was, threw them back in, threw the kids back in, and told people we gonna focus on their SEL skills. And nationwide, I'm getting my master's in social emotional learning, and so I talked with my colleagues, and I've talked with my instructors and professors. Um, I read a lot about these things, many articles just through my research, and it's all over the world. Kids were thrown in. Teachers are teachers are burnt out. Teachers are stressed, and they continue to put more on the teacher's plate, and that's just not right. Because if teachers can't care for themselves, they can't they can't do what's best for kids. It manifests itself into their instruction, into how they respond to kids' behavior, into how they um, come to school and their attendance, and how they work with their colleagues and things like that. And so I'm a big advocate of two things. One, I'm a student advocate. I, I don't care about all I care about is what's best for kids, and the other one is I'm a teacher advocate. All right. Because I'm in this field and I see what happens, and it's not right, teachers, and I'll talk more about that later. All right. When teachers are self-aware, they reflect. They ask themselves reflection questions. And this is something that I work out every morning. I got to get up early. I get up like at 3 and 4 and get it in, because we got a lot on our plates and we're busy, and we're emotionally drained and exhausted. Um, and so when I get off work, I don't want to be doing too much extra. I just kind of want to chill and decompress and relax. So I get it in, get it done over it. But during that time, that's my self-care time for me. Because that's my time when I just reflect. I reflect on my day. I reflect on um how you know, what did I do well? What didn't I do well? You know? Um, I reflect on different incidents. I reflect on how teachers handle things. I reflect on how administrators handle things and things like that. And try to come up with a plan to do something different. I always talk to I got a wonderful team at the building I work at the school I work at. And like, we always have a lot of conversations on, about things that happen and different situations that we encounter throughout our school day. And I can tell they're very, very reflective too, because we come to each other and just have a conversation about it and talk about how we handled it and things like that, and things we did well or things we can do different. And so I think that's what good teachers do, good administrators do, good district leaders do. All right. So these are some of the questions that I feel like you should ask if you're a teacher. All right. Do I call on black and brown students equally to white students? I think that's a fair question. I mean, given that we know we got a achievement gap between black and brown students compared to white students, more black students. And so I think if you're an educator, you need to that would be like if I had to just have a uh just a reflection book, reflection notebook, or even a vision board. I would put that on my vision board just to continuously make me aware, all right, socially aware, and then self-aware too on myself and how I am responding to people of color in the classroom. Because the bottom line is this: we still got a huge achievement gap. We still, but not just in academics, but also in behavior too. And it hasn't went down much. All right, and we'll talk about that later too. I mean, people, we can create the illusion that behavior went down, but all that is just like people aren't doing what they're supposed to do. People aren't putting in the referral. And honestly, for me, I'm not speaking for nobody else. I'm speaking for Roshan Berry, Mr. Berry. For me, I don't want you to not hold, African American kids accountable, um, specifically African American boys, you know, because when kids have behavior, it needs to be some teaching around it, and and it has to be an understanding that there are causes and effect. I mean, this is one of the uh law seven principles that I'm going to be talking to y'all about too on another episode. It's one of the seven principles: cause and effect. All right, there's consequences to your action, and so what we cannot, and I'm not saying suspend a kid because we do that too much too. But what I'm saying is that you have to do some teaching. You have to have some conversation, but not just talk, teaching, and hold them accountable. Because when they get out when they get 18, listen. I don't want I don't want no kids. But as we know that a lot of black and brown kids are being, you know, shot down more than white kids and young white men. Okay. And so I want them to know how to respond when they get a consequence. All right. But when we don't give them consequences, they get out in the world and they think they can do whatever they want. Anybody would. I would. I see it in my daughter already with just even with schoolwork. Those are topics for another conversation. All right. Do I address behavior with the same standard no matter what race, what gender? So specifically, we know we talked about black and brown and the discrepancy with behavior, but m- specifically are African American boys, okay, but also girls and boys, and I'm talking across the board. All right, we know black boys get more reprimands and more office discipline referrals and more suspensions. We know that. But boys in general do too, more than girls. And that's interesting to me. And I know why. And I'm gonna give you an example of a story why boys' behavior is different. And we've been boys, what do we say? Be tough, suck it up. We always trying to pump boys up, and girls supposed to be this way, boys supposed to be this way. And it's been like ingrained in us. Like we've been programmed to think that way. It is what it is. Because I remember, my daughter had a birthday party and her mom's friends was there. And so my wife named Carrie. And so her her friends was there and they were just chilling. And her friends got all boys. I think one of her friends got a girl. Um and next thing you know, I'm just chilling and I'm hearing this crashing and jumping and bumping and stuff like that. And I go in the living room And the boys, they got her little princess, those Disney princess doll, and they just wrestling with them, crashing them together. And I'm like, whoa, 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 pump the brakes. What? Y'all, yeah, calm down. Like my teacher mode came in, you know. I'm like, dude, y'all can't be doing all that. Y'all need to just chill, okay? You we don't be slamming and wrestling with Barbie dolls and stuff like that. But that's what boys been taught to do when they play. They play a little bit different. And with my daughter, I wasn't used to that. Even though, I did things like that when I was a kid, it's been some time and I haven't been around young boys at that age playing like that, you know what I mean? Far as with Barbie dolls and rough and stuff like that. Because with my daughter, I'm dressing up, I'm role playing with her. I'm putting on a tiara and maybe her Barbie, one of her Barbie dress, and I'm talking all soft and sweet, and we gotta play school or so the play is different, you know. And so when it comes to boys and girls, the play looks different, but it's still the same behavior. When it comes to race, the behavior might look a little bit different, but it's still the same behavior. So, for example, okay, a white kid might tell a teacher to shut up and, you know, and stop talking to me and stuff like that, and roll their eyes and stuff and be like, get out of my face and just stop listening to them. A black kid might say F you and call you the N word. You racist. That's what they might say. The white kid then might apologize after the teacher, and say, teacher say you can't be, or the teacher might say, hey, you need to knock it off. But when a black kid do it, they call in an intervention. They call in a principal. They're kicking them out. They're getting suspended. Same be and one of my administrators, she mentioned that too. I mean, because it was she and she had a valid point. We do have to be cognizant of how we respond to kids and making sure that we are consistent because our implicit biases too. It gets in the way, and we all have to recognize it. We all got them. I got them too. But if you're a reflective educator, teacher too, you need to reflect on those things always, constantly. When you're working with kids of color, you have to be reflective. If you're working with kids with academic disabilities, regardless of color, you need to reflect on your practice and how are you responding to different things. Are you providing the same support, or are you pushing them off on the instructional assistant, the support in the classroom? I've seen that, and it happens. I've seen. Listen, if you're a instructional assistant, y'all, I don't know where y'all at, and y'all, and what part of United States you're in, and what your school district call your support staff. Some we used to call them para, but now para educators now, or paraprofessionals. Now we call them instructional assistants. I know some instructional assistants who are the teachers of students, and they shouldn't be because they ain't getting paid for it. So I don't care, union, if you, I'm just being real, union, if y'all support staff, if y'all want me to go to the Department of Ed, Des Moines Capitol building, and raise some hell about y'all getting more money, I will. Because I see the work y'all do. And you should be compensated for the work you do. Because I've seen instructional assistants do the work that they're not getting paid for. And kids connect with them. Sometimes kids don't even want to talk with them. They're the ones that the kids depend on, lean on, trust, have the relationship with. Should it be that way? No, the kids should have, realistically, a better relationship with the teacher. And so when those things are addressed, It's a bigger problem. All right. It's a system problem. It's an institution problem. It's an organization problem. And so you hear that, it needs to be addressed. I'm just keeping it real. People get mad. If you get mad, that means you know what you're doing. Do all my students do do all my students connect with and feel they are valuable to the success of my classroom community? So do kids feel like they value? Do they feel like they're a part of this? I mean, like my voice and what I say means something. And I'm included in some of the decisions and the responsibilities in this classroom. Gotta ask that question because I'm gonna tell you like this. I know some students that don't. I'm just gonna keep it real. Talk to their parents to get them on their show so y'all can hear them say it. It is what it is. We got to do better. The education system got to do better. Okay, because actually, in my next, the one I put out right after this is gonna give y'all a little bit of history about the educational system and why we're failing kids. It is what it is. Do they believe that I value what they bring to our class? Do they believe that I know they can succeed? And when they fail an assessment, it's not on them, it's on me. This is what I said when I spoke to the students at UNI yesterday. If your kid, I when my first year teaching in 2009, I was teaching at school, and my kids was crying. Like those kids were amazing too. They were hard workers, uh, and they were competitive. But one day they failed an assessment and they were crying. I was like, it was not everybody, but like the majority, like at least 75 to 80% of my students were crying, and they were crying because they let me down. And I'm like, listen, don't. It's okay. Don't be crying. It's not y'all fault. Y'all didn't do nothing wrong. Y'all did what y'all supposed to do. Y'all came in, took the test. That's on me as a teacher. I failed y'all. Y'all didn't fail. I failed because obviously the instruction that I was delivering wasn't enough. Y'all didn't understand. Y'all needed more strategies. I need to figure out what's the best way or how do you learn when I'm teaching this concept and how can I get you there? We supposed to be detectives. I've heard teachers say, well, they just don't get it. I mean, says some of the worst stuff. They just, and blame the kids. That's why we got a lot of kids who got in special education. That's why we got a lot of kids in special education because um, some teachers don't want, I'm just gonna be real. And I'm like I said, I'm a teacher advocate. But and when I say it, I'm not talking about it's just a small number. I mean, it's not a large number, it's a small number, but that makes a difference when you got, when you're teaching 20 to 25 to 30 kids. Okay. If you're not doing the work and willing to take accountability when you and just keep it moving and don't even think about it, be like, they just don't get it. That's on you because you need to be trying to investigate why. And if it's happening continuously, and if 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 a teacher is continuously bringing kids to figure out if they need to be staffed in, and it's consistent like every year, I ain't thinking about and they bring in a high number of students every time. I'm looking at the kids. I'm looking at the teacher. If I'm an administrator, it ain't a kid thing. It's a teacher thing. Why? It's what you doing. I'm just being real. If you get upset, well, it must be you doing it. If you don't get upset, you understand. You're being reflective. You know. Do I believe all students can learn at high levels? We gotta push our students. We gotta challenge them. If you come in and you don't believe that your student can learn at high levels, then one, you're creating dependency. And we're supposed to move dependent students to independent. And you're never going to challenge them. They're going to always be dependent on you or somebody. You have to move them from being dependent to independent thinkers and learners so they can be successful. When parents come to the school to meet with me because because they they feel that their kids' needs aren't being met or they want to address the behavior concern. All right. Do I get defensive and point the finger at the parent? I think that's a valid reflection question too. You know what I mean? Um, when parents come to school and ask questions, and they might be mad, they might raise their voice, but as a parent, you know, you gotta understand that's why social emotional learning is important. Maybe they got a deficit in that area where they can't manage that emotion, but they love their kid that much. They want their kid to be successful, and they're only hearing their kid's side of the story too. Don't get offensive. Listen to that parent. Have empathy. Have some compassion. Tell them you understand. Just because you and say, I'm sorry you feel that way. Just because you say you sorry, that don't mean you wrong. But then after that, you give them feedback on why you did what you did or why that student is failing. And give them if it's related to academics, show some examples. Show the compare to the average student in your classroom. Do some comparison. This is their work, and this is what your kid did. Okay. But let's work together. How can we, I mean, tell me, what do you see at home and what can we do together as a team? This is what I'm thinking. All right. Because it's a partnership. And if y'all ain't on the same page, the kids gonna fail. And, and encourage them and let them know that like you're on her team, you're on his team, you're on their team. And I want to provide the best support. Let's communicate more. Okay. Because we both want the same thing. And when you do that, parents typically feel good. They know you care about their kid, and they usually will walk out the meeting feeling good. And they're gonna contact you. And next time y'all encounter, it's gonna look a little bit differently. Because now y'all got that mutual respect. They know that you care about their kid. They know that you're there to support them, you know. But you have to, as teachers, you have to reflect because I've seen teachers most definitely get defensive and say parents aren't doing anything, and sometimes parents can't do it all. I mean, if you're a single parent and you got to work, you got 4 kids, you got one kid's a lot, and so if you got to work, you got to cook, you got to clean. I mean, when I was a kid, I didn't get help. I had to figure it out. You know what I mean? You know, and then when I got to school, my teacher helped me. I know it's a different time, but we can't expect these parents that are also in a different time do the teaching when the curriculum is way different, way different. I'm serious. If you're an elementary teacher and they give you some uh algebra 2 or trigonometry, I bet you can't do it. You probably could do it when you was in high school. You probably do it your way, but it's gonna be foreign to you. I don't care what you say. I'm just keeping it real. So we have to be self-aware and also be reflective. You know what these parents are going through too. All right. And don't take it personal. Don't get upset. We all got the same common goal. We want what's best for kids. So I think I'm a parent, so I know how I would feel too. All right. Um, a teacher who's self-aware, they recognize that they both, them and a parent, want the best for the student, and then they give that parent feedback on the situation. They have continuous dialogue with the parent as they move through the process. Okay, all right. Self-aware teachers understand they have biases, and they always reflect on their whole day to improve themselves and teaching for all learners. Administrators. Question. Are administrators aware of their own biases and try to address it through self-reflection, modeling equity for both students and staff? That's key. All right. Because if you're self-aware, you're going to be reflecting on those things. You're going to be having conversations and dialogue. You're going to be talking to kids and engaging with kids. I'm an analytical person. I watch people from head to toe. I watch it. I try to read by body language. I want to, because body language tell you a lot. When you ask somebody a question and their eye flick or their head turn to the left, it tell me something. I'm just being real. All right. So you gotta really be observant and reflective on how you can improve your building and how you can improve as a leader. All right. And create a culture and climate where all students and staff feel included. A self-aware administrator principal provide professional learning to improve self and staff on social issues in education. And so they're going to be up on the political part of it, the policies that's being put in place throughout. They're not just going to leave it to the central office leaders, okay? They're gonna be on top of that themselves and be prepared when things might possibly change and or be proactive, on some of these things. When a teacher gives them feedback on the way they handle a situation with a student or with a parent or with the teacher, they don't take it personal. I've seen principals take it personal. And that's like principal one-on-one if you're in an administration program. I got an administration endorsement. I'm sorry I keep going down because leg itch a little bit. I got an administrator endorsement. And from what I learned is that a good principal is always self they can take feedback without taking it personal. And if you're a good principal, they'll take that feedback, they'll go reflect on it, and then they will follow up with the teacher about why they handled the situation that they did and thank them for bringing it to their attention. But don't just like get mad or don't talk to the teacher. I've heard it before. Hey, once it's out of your hands, once when you send the students out of your room, it's out of your hand. And then the student's back in the room, but the student threw a pencil and almost took the eye out of another student. And she's back in 5 minutes. So the teacher a teacher do got a valid question. Why is this student back in my class? That's a safety issue. And well, you can't ask that. No, teacher has the right to know. Okay, you need to and you should give that teacher feedback on why. Okay, and if the teacher feel like you didn't handle it well, the bottom line is this: you need to reflect on that because you might not have handled the situation. It, it so this is what gets me because that's I counselors, we got a different mindset, but adults think that they can't, not all, but most think they can't be wrong when it comes to addressing an issue with a student, far as a behavior or a student's questioning them. I'm the adult, be quiet. I don't want to hear it. Nope, now you being disrespectful. Get out of my room. People in leadership and authoritative positions feel the same way too sometimes. They think they're always right. I'm the boss. No, you're not. You're human. Get away from those titles. Be human. Everybody, listen, Mr. Barry the dad, Mr. Barry the cousin, brother, son. No, I'm human. A counselor. I'm a human being. Okay. I'm not defined by my title. Some people that define them, and that's more power to you. But when that title get taken away from you, then what you got? Be a human being. Don't let no label define who you are. Be yourself. Have some self-awareness. Principals who exhibit self-awareness skills recognize they are the leaders of the building and can't do everything. So what they do is identify other potential leaders in the building, or they try to develop leaders in the building and give them opportunities to lead professional development, different groups or different activities. Okay. They also recognize that, hey, we got some people in color in our building, and we know that we don't have a lot of people in color in leadership positions, and they don't get recognized a lot. They don't get opportunities a lot. And I'm just being real because I've been doing this for 13 years. I've been black all my life. I think everybody know that. And so it's not just in this field. I've seen this in every field. And I know people who go through this every day. It's something. We have to look, we have to have a certain skin color. We have to talk a certain way. We have to dress a certain way. We have to go above and beyond with our education. So you got to come in. So a lot of times, not all the time, but sometimes it takes you to have a doctorate to get in these leadership roles. You got to be a doctor, or a master, to just, you got to, and you got to have all these extra things too. Oh, overqualified, but still, I know for a fact, and I've seen this, and I see it time and time again, that people are in leadership positions who are less qualified, and other people who want to be in those position leaders are more qualified, don't get the didn't get the opportunity. Now they can say what they want to say about why these people don't get the opportunity. This is an American thing. You know what I mean? This is across the nation. And so we have to get back to like being, I mean, that's I ain't gonna even get too much in that because that's a topic that's on one of my sidebar conversations, okay? About, we 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 we've been going through this for so many years, and it's like now we in 21st century and 22. I remember when it was freaking 1995. I was born in 1975. Sure. And we still do. Come on now, ridiculous. Give people opportunity and take risk on them. Because I see people, I've seen it happen over and over and over where white professionals in the education field, they take a chance on them, but they won't take a risk. They'll have a reason. There's always some type of reason not to hire the black person, the black teacher, the black coach, or the black principal. It's always a reason. Oh, they didn't. But who cares about the interview? I mean, interview do mean something, but I know some people that I don't listen. I don't I don't interview well because as you can see, I always veer off. I ramble. I'm just keeping it real. But I tell you this, my actions in this field, ask the kids, ask the parents. But I see people who are in these positions, they suck, they terrible. I'm just gonna keep it real. If you want to know who they are, call me personally or email me. I'll tell you who they are. They suck. I'm just gonna keep it real. People do. I've been in this. I've worked with people in Cedar Rapids. I've worked with people in Des Moines. I still have contact with people. We have these conversations, and I'm talking about white leaders. They recognize it too. They see the disparity with our black and brown people in leadership positions or being even just included in the conversation. Come on now. Just because we put two or three in there, that thank you, it's good, but that's not enough. Because something's going wrong if we still dealing with these massive academic gaps and these serious behaviors, we need something to change. I think SEL is it. And we'll talk about how important it is and what that looks like and what it should look like in every district. And if it don't, that's a problem. You're not implementing it right. And it's across the nation. Principals who are strong in self-awareness, they continue to analyze and disaggregate data to use that data to drive their decisions for building improvement in every area in the school. So when I talk about areas, I'm gonna be specific: academic, attendance, behavior, social and emotional, culture and climate, and equity. They look at that. We don't just come there and just try to get through the day and then address it on professional development day. We're gonna be analyzing and having conversation. We're gonna have a conversation on POCs. It's called professional learning communities. For parents that don't know what that is, that's when they meet and they kind of talk about students, look at the data, and then try to come up with a new plan to help those students be successful. Having conversations, and the focus is supposed to be. I mean, I've observed a couple. The ones I've observed in my past experience, it was, I don't know, complaining to me. I don't, it wasn't productive. So, but I know some are productive, and you can see it when they come out of there and when they in their students, how they respond to them and how they do academically moving forward. Self-awareness at the district level. Districts who are self-aware, they recognize there's an achievement gap between black and brown students and the white peers. They work to have conversations with principals, teachers, and community. See, that's one part that's always missed out. The community. I'm not talking about the same people that's always at the table. I'm talking about going out and to go over to, if you from this area, go to the black churches. Go, and if you don't want to go to black churches, we got schools over there, and invite the community in and continue to have ongoing conversation, because this is a problem and it needs to be addressed. I'm just telling you, we keep moving, and I'll tell you why we're not making dents in this, and so we gotta keep changing up different things and keep implementing new curriculum and things like that. That's not really putting a dent in the gap. So we got a bigger problem. We got a bigger problem that we need to look at. This should provide professional learning on implicit biases, racial inequity, cultural competency, and culturally responsive teaching. All right. And so, parents, when I talk about culturally responsive teaching, that means you're recognizing that you're in a classroom with diverse students, and you're choosing your curriculum and your reading materials, and you're making sure that it represents them and they can connect with them, but also you're not, because it's not always about, it's about two, making sure that you're holding them, to kids of color, to the same standards as their white peers. So it's not about just picking black books and Hispanic books and Bosnian. It's not about that. It's about, challenging them, making sure that you have the same high expectations regardless of where they come from, their social economic status, their skin color. That's what cultural responsive teaching is right there. Right. And so districts, when they're self-aware, they recognize that they got to continue to look at that and address that. Get in the building. See, I always go off topic, and I'm just, because that's just me. We just having a conversation. We learning together. All right. And please, like, email me if you got questions. For sure, email me. And if or something I said, you want to challenge me or have a conversation, because guess what? I don't take nothing personal. Everybody got their own perspective. But when you do, you got to make sure you come with some valid research because I got a ton of books and I'm going to research and I'm going to look and I'm going to show you and I'm going to show you and I'm going to compare multiple. I'm going to show you multiple different things, multiple different resources. I'm not going to come with one, okay? But but also if you just got questions because you feel like you have some concerns, hit me up. I want to, I'm here for human beings. I, I I'll say that for the end. All right, but for me, honestly, I'm serious. Like after I finish these at district level, I'll tell you what I think every school district in the world should do. All right. When receiving high number of bullying complaints, regardless if it's founded or unfounded, they work with the staff and the community to come up with a plan to keep kids safe. Because that's something that we don't do. We don't work with the community. I don't think we give a. I don't think education, the education field, gives an. I can't speak for. I'm just speaking from just working with other people, doing my reading, watching TV, reading articles and things like that. I think we talk about it in the school. I think we have a process and procedures in place on how it can be addressed, but I don't think the community is involved in enough. Because if the community was involved in the bullying process and prevention and awareness enough, we would be they wouldn't be parents wouldn't be calling the schools all the time saying my kids getting bullied when they got picked when they some it was a one isolated incident or two isolated incidents and they kids started it. They wouldn't do because they would have knowledge. They would know, they would be aware, it would be teaching around what that is. And it would be a whole conversation where they are included in this. They have ownership on how we can support kids and teach kids how to stand up to it and what they need to do. But when it's happening, what are the steps? What does that look like? Who do you talk to? Where do you go? Because we got too many kids that don't tell the teachers or the principal or the behavior intervention. And that's not fair to us. And parents, I get it. You're gonna be. I would be. I'm a parent, so I get it. I get it. But I will say, because I've done hundreds of bullying investigations, and 95% of them, parents, I'm just gonna be real, they're unfounded. But there's some that are valid. There's some that are unfounded. 95% of them are unfounded because a lot of times they going back and forth. That parent kid might be the a lot of times they're the one that started it, but then like the other kid got the best of them in the Jones and whatever they call and stuff like that. And then maybe other kids, and then it can don't get me wrong, it can become bullying, but we have to hold our kids accountable when they are the person who initiates that conflict. But then also make principal, teachers, counselors aware that is happening. Don't and I tell you, parents, I do get this a lot. I'm just keeping it real. Like I said, I'm gonna keep it real with you. I get this a lot, and I want y'all to be aware because kids, most of the time when it comes to these things, they're honest. Okay. I mean, the kid, I got great relationships with kids. So the students, every time I talk to them, they straight up honest. So we get a call, a principal might come to me, or I might have a message saying that their kid is being bullied and it's been going on for months and stuff. So the first thing I'm always do, I'm gonna talk to the kid before parents. So if you don't get a call from me right away, don't worry, you're gonna get one. But I want to talk to the kids first, and I want to see what's happening because 90 this is like 98 or 99% of the time. The kid be like, no, because I said, so what's going on? Like, I got a call from your mom, your dad, or grandma, or a caretaker, and they've been saying like something's been picking on you. Well, tell me more about that. They said it's been going on for well, then the kid will say, well, yeah, they've been calling me names and I'm just kind of tired of it. You know, and they walk past me and look at me a certain way, and I say, "Okay, well, how long has this been going on?" Well, it was just yesterday and I think Monday. And I'm like, well, your mom and dad said it's been going on for months. No, no. I just told them it was that's what I'm saying. But I get it, parents, because y'all know that when y'all say that word, y'all just want something done because y'all love y'all kids. Y'all kids deserve to come to school and be in a safe, caring, loving environment. So you want something done. And I get it, but I it's important to just talk about the incident. Because when we go through the process and interview the students, all parties that's involved, we're gonna find out if it's bullying and if it's like going on and it's happening and it's been going on for some time and multiple people involved and they got more. We're gonna do the bullying investigation. But it don't look good when we you say this. And sometimes and I get it too. And I'll say this to parents on your defense. Sometimes kids do tell y'all that, and then they get to school and tell us something different because they don't want to tell us everything. Or they might think they might get in trouble for not telling us because we always say we need to be the first to know. So it could go either way too. But more 9 times out of 10 is usually the first example I gave. Okay. So I think, as districts, we need to continue to have professional learning with all parties involved with the community. That means that includes parents and community agencies and different organizations and collaborate with different districts also. Um uh Professional learning with all staff, and it needs to be ongoing and things like that. And it doesn't have to be big meetings all the time. It could be like prior to one of our one of your meetings. Just make sure you just spend a little bit 5 to 10 minutes, especially if it's you keep getting these calls. We gotta come up with solutions. We can't just keep running around being reactive. If we getting a lot of calls, regardless if it's founded or unfounded, if you are a principal getting a lot of calls of a parent saying, or a district that their child is being bullied, that's a problem. Regardless if it's bullying or not, there's a problem, and it needs to be some education around it. But it also needs to be um some interventions within the school where you can kind of eliminate some of those problems. Some teaching, ongoing teaching with the students, okay, with the staff, all right, coming up with safe places, coming up with codes, coming up ways of students addressing it discreetly, confidentially, because maybe they don't want their teacher to know because they're in the same class with the kid and the teacher's going to talk to him. Maybe sometimes teachers don't handle it the right way. They might call a kid right now, right? Because when I say it, I just say I don't never name names. I never do that because we're in a different time and it can get worse for kids because then people gonna be like, you a snitch, and then they friends get no. So I just say, hey, it was brought to my attention by several kids and some adults too. I just leave it at that. Hey, using expenditures to provide resources, spend some money. We got the money. The education feels money there. Now you choose where you want to spend that money. But I think if you getting a lot of parents upset about their kids getting bullied and they're posting things on social media about school and different people, and I think that's something I want to look into and address and maybe spend some money to try to provide some support, either more adults in the building or more resources to educate out within the district and the buildings and distribute it outside the district so everybody can know and everybody can be on the same page. We're lifelong learners and we all need to know what's going on. If you don't know, you're gonna have these things happening. And hold all stakeholders accountable to keeping students safe. All right. Self-aware uh self-aware school districts, they recognize the state of the world that we're in right now and the effects of pandemic, COVID-19 pandemic. And now Ukraine has been going through this situation with Russia for some time right now. And so if you're self-aware, if I'm a school district, if I'm a superintendent, I don't want to be ever, but I'm just saying, hypothetically, if I was a superintendent of a school district, first of all, COVID-19 happened when we got back to school. My number one goal, because trust me, this is across the nation. Kids and teachers both were just thrown back in there in the mix with, hey, we're gonna give you a curriculum, and that's SEL. No, it's not SEL. That's one part, but that's not the whole part. Then we're worried about kids, the gaps. They've lost so much learning. Hmm? How can kids learn when their emotional well being is not where it needs to be? Their connections and their social skills on how they talk and react to adults and their peers is not where they need to be. These were kids that were just snatched out of an environment that they're supposed to feel safe with people who care about them. And some of these kids went on to like different schools and didn't even get to say bye to their teacher. Didn't even get to give their teacher a hug. The teacher didn't get to say bye to their kid. Didn't even get to give the student, and it might be a kid that they had a true connection with, like they had the best relationship with that kid. And so these kids didn't get a time to connect. Teachers didn't get time to connect and talk and have conversations about how they were feeling during that time, not being around their peers and the teachers talking about how they felt, not being around their students and their colleagues. We got kids struggling right now. I don't know how many times me and my teammates have to try to get kids to class crying. It's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking. And so we throw them back in this environment where they can't even connect, but then they got to go home where they don't have any connections. Not all, but some. I know kids who are lonely at home by themselves, don't feel connected. And so then we resort to these other maladaptive behaviors. That's scary. And we got to do a better job, America. Districts on having compassion. Stop, because the bottom line is this. I'm just gonna keep it real. If the students aren't there emotionally, if they're not in a social and an emotional good place, they can't learn. They can't learn. If teachers aren't in a social and an emotional good place, they can't be the best. They can't teach. It manifests itself in their curriculum and how they deal with their students and their colleagues and their peers. So again, parents, teachers, we still are trying to close the achievement gap the same way we've been doing, looking at different curriculums, trying to come up with different strategies, implementing different things and stuff like that. More coaching and stuff for the teachers, which is awesome. But the gap is not shrinking too fast. So what's missing? The SEL, because the SEL, when you look at the five core competencies, it's gonna boost academics, and it's gonna reduce behaviors. It's going to improve attendance, and it's going to create good citizens and good future leaders. Simple and plain. All right. We got other cultures or other ethnicities who come here from other countries. I'm just thinking about our Bosnian parents who I used to have. I had a Bosnian neighbor when me and we used to stay on me and Carrie and Nia used to stay on Ninth Street, West Ninth Street, and that was my family. Like he would cook for us all the time. They were my brothers and sisters. Like we would hang out all the time. We had long talks, and he would talk to me. They would talk to me about their experiences in the war, and they would cry, and I would be emotional with them. It was sad, and then me and Carrie would go home and reflect on it and be sad. Have the conversation. We couldn't imagine. These are our students' grandparents, but more importantly, that our students' parents, they were kids during that time. So just imagine see, we as Americans, I love America. We America is awesome, but we don't we don't have to experience that. We don't have to experience things. I mean, we've had tragedies, but we haven't had other countries come here and invade our country and try to. No, we haven't had that because we got things in place. Okay. We got strong military and all that stuff because we spend a lot of money on the military. So of course we do. All right. So we don't we can't even conceptualize something like that being in your home and an explosion happened and now you don't have anything. So when they're watching this, because I've talked to I like I said, I have Bosnian friends, you know, or friends from that area and stuff like that. And we've had conversations about that. And it's traumatic. It's complex trauma. Like it's these are serious complex PTSD. And it's gonna come out on because they're kids seeing the parents. Our students are seeing their parents emotional and engaged and watching this stuff, and our students are watching it. And now it's conversations, they asking questions. So we need to be aware of that, and we need to because if I was a district leader, I would say, okay, listen here, this is what we know this is going on, and we know we have we got some African some families that came from Africa who has experienced some of these things and stuff like that. We have some, Bosnian and some Serbian families. Hey, so here's the deal. This is a sensitive time for them. All right. So one, we have to be compassionate. We have to have empathy and compassion. Okay. Two, we need to kind of engage with these parents and bring them in and talk. And we got interpreters in the building too, in our district. Bring them in. Let's have a conversation. What are you hearing? Okay. Now, how can we? What would you? How can we support you and your student, your kid during this time? What can we do as a school to eliminate some of the trauma or the pain or the hurt that they may be going through based on just being at home in the conversations that y'all going through or seeing the pain that y'all are going through? What would y'all like to see from us? How can we have empathy and compassion, self-aware, you know? I haven't heard anything about that in no district. I mean, I see it on the news, but I don't hear districts talking about it. I haven't seen anything on TV, but I guess I don't watch a lot of TV. Focus on kids' SEL needs to cultivate resilience in students. All right. Uh, Districts are aware of the impact of the pandemic and what it had on teachers' mental well-being due to the demand of the job because of loss of learning. What school districts do, they should provide support for teachers. They make sure they give teachers a voice. They create opportunities for teachers to care for themselves. What does that look like? All right. How about this? Give teachers more work time. What do we have? Why we gotta have meetings all the time? Give them some time to themselves. Our teachers they got 30. Some of these teachers got 30 plus kids, and it's just them. And they get more and more and more on their plates. Plus, they got a personal life too. They got families too. And it's like we and I tell teachers, I don't care. I'm different. I keep it real. I'm different. The bottom line is this: I give my heart and soul to to these kids, and I love them. You know what I mean? But I tell teachers like, listen, if you're not in the best place right now, if you don't take care for yourself, don't. I've seen teachers come in like sick as heck because they feel like people might frown, they might be frowned upon, or or it's just that they don't want anybody to work with their kids. Like their kids are struggling, and they want to make sure they can be there to support their kids and stuff like that. Because when the teachers aren't there, it does impact the learning of the kids. Okay, but if you're not healthy physically or mentally, you can't be the best you for the kids. So essentially, you still hurting the kid, and you're hurting yourself. And if you can't be here, and if something major, God forbid, something major happens, like Ice Cube said on True to the Game, there'll be a new brother next year. There'll be a new you the next day. I tell my daughter's mom that. Like she's that type of like dude. Like if you're sick, you need to take off because you know, trust me, if something major happens, they're gonna it's gonna be a new carry tomorrow. Trust me. It'll be a new I'm just making up a name right now. It'll be a new uh Charlena. I don't know. Charlena. I don't know. I'm just I can't even think right now. Tired. I've been up all night. It'll be a new teacher in your place. So take care of yourself. And that's what's important. But our district's got to do that. Give our teachers time to work from home on PD days. We did it when COVID first happened. Give teachers time, and I see it, and it's happening across. It's happening in some districts too. Why do you gotta be in the building all the time to work when we've learned so much since because the pandemic, although it was such a terrible thing, it did bring out some good things like how to utilize learning through social media, Zoom, Connect. I watch so many webinars on CASEL's website and Panorama. I'm throwing that name out there. I'm throwing y'all out there. Yeah, represent y'all. Got some good information, good resources for teachers. If you want to learn more about SEL, for sure, visit CASEL's website and visit Panorama's website. Um, I think I think another website, and I'll look it up. I'll have a day where I'm just giving a lot of information. Cause and the reason why I don't leave links, I'm still learning, but the reason why I don't leave links, I think you gotta have a certain amount. Please view it and like it because you gotta have a certain amount of views before they'll allow you to do certain things. Cause I was trying to leave links because I want to leave resources, information and useful resources for both parents and teachers to support our students and things, but I'm not able to right now. So I got to get up to about 1,000 views, and then I think they'll open that window for me. All right, but yeah, I mean, you can break out in groups and stuff. You can do the same thing, except give somebody a high five. You can give a high five on. They got some dude. I'm going through this Snapchat when because my class. That's what I'm doing. My classes through National University. If you interested in the SEL, get at me. All right. Awesome. Awesome program. Awesome teacher. And we can talk more about what that looked like. And it's quick. Trust me. If you're really interested, please email me at harmoniclove369@gmail.com. Capital H, capital L. And for sure, if we can talk on conversation, we can talk through Zoom, we can email back and forth, whatever. I will for sure share with you information, and it's really a good program. All right. But you can have breakout section. You can even play games. You can even implement SEL with a game. I'm not saying like every month, every PD day, but how about every other PD day? Let teachers work from home. I mean, you know what they doing? They're in a Zoom. You can see them. Require them to make sure they have the camera on. That's what we did when pandemic first happened. Gotta have your camera on. Okay. But that will give teachers too the opportunity to work and maybe not feel burned out because they've been coming home every day with so much on their plate and they can't even do their freaking laundry. I was reading an article in one of my classes, this teacher was saying in the article, which I like, she was saying that she couldn't, like, it was a long, she didn't take a bath, a shower for 3 days, 3 days, because she was worn down. And finally, she convinced herself to get up, put on some clothes, and just putting on some clothes made her feel good. And then she went and had lunch with her friends. That's come on now. What are we talking about here? Give our care for our teachers. Our teachers do too much. They do a lot. They go above and beyond. Not all, but the majority. We got a lot of teachers in this nation, but I guarantee you 95%. I mean, now that 5% is a big number, but compared to 95 it is. When we're talking about all the teachers in the US. All right. Encourage teachers to take break times during instructions and connect with their students. That's helping the teacher and that's helping the kid because they're going to build relationships and the teacher can learn a lot from the student during that time. Give them that time to take a break. That curriculum is not going nowhere. And if they can't take a 15-minute break, and the kids, they're gonna lose so much because 15 minutes gone. Oh, what? No, come on, let's be real. If someone probably ain't even listening because they freaking burned out from working hard, especially by ninth and 10th hour by the end of the day. Checked out. But if you create breaks throughout the whole day, if every teacher have a structured break where they could connect with the kid, maybe play a game one time. Maybe it's just a meeting and a conversation, engaging a kid. Guess what? You're gonna improve academics, you're gonna improve behavior, you're gonna improve culture and climate in your classroom, and you're gonna improve attendance because kids gonna be like, oh, I think it's cool. We have fun. They know about me. Um, and we connect and things like that. I want to be. I enjoy like just having a conversation about something that's unrelated to school. It's about the kids, and you connect and share about yourself because kids want to know. Just imagine when you see a kid outside of the school, the kid's like, Mr. So and so, Mrs. They so happy to see you outside of your element. They can't even they think you're a robot. They can't imagine you in sweats or just chilling with your family. And they so happy. And they get all shy and nervous and stuff and get quiet. I mean, at least the kids I run into do. Come on, huh? Bring mental health professionals in to talk to our staff and educate them on the impact of burnout and ways they can care for themselves. Bring a nutritionist in to help staff create or continue to keep good eating habits because we know that how you eat and the food you consume plays a part in how you feel and your emotional and your mental well-being. Some people stress eat. Some people do. I don't. I binge eat. I won't eat sweets for a long time, and then I go all in about 2 in the morning, crumbing up everywhere, waking up with chocolate on my shirt because I'm half asleep. That's how I do it. Hot mess. I'm trying to stop, but but some teachers do. I mean, and we know that when you're healthy, you feel better anyway, mentally and physically. So bring nutritionists in. We've been doing the same thing for the same year. But now we continue to add more. and not making that much growth or achievement. I'm just being real. If you wanna if if you wanna have a conversation, if you wanna come on the show, if you're a district leader and administrator, get on the show, show me a data. I mean, bring the data. Let's compare it from let's do from 2000 to 2023, 2000, 2023, excuse me, from 2000 to 2023, 2023. Let's see what that looks like, and let's see how much growth. We need to do something different because what we doing ain't working, and I'll tell you why on the next video. School districts, they bring community agencies in, they partner with them, and they provide lunches or free events. Uh, we got Blackhawks here, free tickets there or to the Bucks games and things like that. That happens sometimes, but it don't happen enough. Create or just even, you know, bringing in vendors or something like that, or just having people come in and set up games or crafts or do something. It don't gotta be about money. To get people will volunteer their time. You and I, students, Hawkeye students, they probably got students that are in like health, like in kinesiology or some type of health training, personal training programs and things like that. They probably need intern hours. They would probably be gladly to collaborate and get some hours and come in and work with our staffs and give them some training, teach them some health, provide some health classes in the morning or after school or on the PD day. That's important. If we want teachers to be present, if we want teachers to be their best, we have to appreciate them. We have to show them that they're appreciated, and we have to keep them healthy. If they ain't healthy, they can't teach our kids. And yes, you can get a sub there, but subs just get them through. A lot. Why how is a PE teacher or a music teacher subbing gonna help a literacy classroom, a literacy teacher student? How is that gonna happen? Come on now, let's keep it real. Just be real. Teachers need to feel valued, man. They need to feel recognized, and it needs to be done more. Not every now and then. Our district, we do a good job on some of those things, but I think we can do a better job. We got that be bold stuff going on. I like that. That's good. But I think we got to really it's I think we identify certain people. It's like certain people who are a part of a certain a cert a circle, or like depending on the administrator too. Because if you got an administrator, that I've had some great administrators, I for sure. And I know, I know two that was like really big on like celebrating their staff. And that's so amazing. That makes staff feel good. Because if they feel supported, they feel valued, they're gonna work their tails off for you. So anything you ask them to do as an administrator, they're going to do and not have a problem with it. And guess what? They're gonna be they're gonna be such great leaders for you that they're gonna encourage other people to support your vision or whatever new initiative that you're implementing, or they can bring other people in just based on their leadership. So districts who have strong self-awareness skills, they find ways to reward the work that the teachers do. And it ain't about money. Give them a break. I guarantee you, teachers would rather have. I guarantee you, if you give teachers, if districts would give teachers a every other month a excuse me, a PD day to work from home, I guarantee you that you don't gotta buy a teacher nothing. They would if you do a survey. superintendents out here in the great USA, do a survey. I guarantee you they read. If you say, "Hey, would you rather me provide you lunch every PD or give me a PD day off every other month?" I guarantee you they'll take the latter. Guarantee it. Just saying. So it ain't about money. And then guess what? You still getting the work out of them, and you can use that money for something else that you would possibly buy them lunch for to show that you value them. Use that money. You can use that money for something else. Give them the time so they can just relax, just have a moment to breathe. They understand how important teachers are and the role teachers play in the lives of children. So these districts recognize and value cultural differences. And so this is big to me. And I'll be getting into this another time. They recognize that we have people from different ethnicities. Prime example, Ukraine and Russian war. How we recognize that. We're aware, and we these are some of our kids. These are some of our kids' parents. These are their grandparents have been in it. Okay, we gotta make sure that we 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 can support them. You know, we gotta make sure we can support them. Some of these parents, some of these kids' parents and grandparents, they were living on camps. The parents were, and with very little food. Man, that's traumatizing. You don't recognize it until you experience it. It's trauma. Got a lot of kids of color, experience not eat sometimes. Low SES, white and black and Hispanic. Hey, bottom line, tell me, you don't know how I feel. Self awareness is important in both adults and children. Schools and schools, excuse me, social emotional learning in schools is our opportunity to better human beings. I think that's the big piece for me because if when I go into those laws, those seven principles, universal principles, self awareness and self awareness, the five core competencies, SEL's five core competencies is embedded. And this is like goes back to ancient time. It's a human thing. It's not a school thing. It's not a new initiative. It's been around for years. We giving it a new name, and people forgot. People lost. People aren't conscious. My message to parents is this: it is vital for you to talk to your kid's school and your school district to find out if they are implementing social emotional learning framework and what does that look like. So I'm gonna give you some questions to ask. Ask for information about the SEL implementation framework. If they can't show you that or give you the information, they're not implementing SEL. They're not they're not addressing your students' social and emotional well-being. Ask about the SEL curriculum. Ask them to share a sample lesson. Ask them to can you observe? And I think if you're a district, I think if you're a school and a principal and a teacher, I would love for you to come in and observe it. But probably won't because a lot of schools say they doing it and they're really not doing it. I'm just keeping it real. Trust me, I know. Ask who provides the SEL instruction. Is it the teacher? Is it a support staff? Is it a community member coming in and doing it? Partner? Ask. Ask is SEL being implemented in every school in a district? I've learned that in some districts, some schools or some principals leading it, and some principals don't even have a clue anything about SEL, and they're not doing it. It's just another thing. I don't want. I want to. We got to focus on academics. But I don't want to focus on if my kid, if our students can't. focus in school because they got severe anxiety. You gotta focus on academics. But I don't want to focus on my student who is severely depressed. Focus on academics. But I want to focus on my student who has a ton of absences because they feel like somebody picking on them and nothing is happening. Because when you implement SEL, it address all that. Trust me. It will. It's not going to eliminate it completely, but trust me, you will see a huge boost in achievement. You will see a huge decrease in absences. You will see a huge decrease in behaviors. And then if you serve the students and give them a survey and ask them, do they feel supported? Do they feel they're in a caring environment? Do they feel that their teacher believe in them? Do they feel that they can achieve at high levels? Do they feel like their teacher appreciate um, the diversity that they bring and their cultural differences? Trust me, look at the data. Do a survey on it right now. Implement a true SEL framework. Do it for 3 to 5 years, and I bet you the data look more better than the achievement data. Well, but I bet you this: you're gonna see some improvement in achievement data. But I'm just talking about the growth. That's what I'm talking. The growth in those skills versus how we've been moving like turtles for years and years and years, tens of years, to boost student achievement. Ask this question: what's the support staff role in SEL? What's the teacher's role? What's the support staff role? What's the principal's role? I guarantee, parents, if you watching this video, go to your kid's principal and ask them to name the 5 core competency areas in SEL. I bet they can. I bet they can. Bet they can't. So if they can't do that, they don't have a role in it. And administrators should know it. They should have a role because they are the leaders of the building and they should for sure push it. Be pushing it. Don't talk about it and think it's a teacher thing and just tell the teachers you need to do it. You need to teach a lesson. It's more than a lesson. It's more than a lesson. That's one component. A very small component. It's important. Don't get me wrong. Because we gotta explicitly teach kids things. They're in school, they're learners, they're young learners trying to prepare for the real world and become adults and professionals and parents. But that's small. That's what is the district central office role. So I'm talking about the superintendent, the executive of student services, special education director, HR members. What's their role? What do they know about SEL? What does it do they know what it looks like in a classroom? Do they know who's implementing SEL? Have they seen in a lesson? Can they name the 5 competency areas without Google? School board. What's school board role? What's the community role? Because the community, and the reason why I say this, parents and teachers and principals and central office leaders. This is the reason why I say this because I didn't know a lot about SEO. When COVID first hit, you know, I ended up applying for a job in SEL position. A friend of mine let me know that there was a position open in Des Moines for SEL. I was like, well, gosh, and I was, and I'm gonna be real. Like I'm die hard. I'm from Waterloo. I only lived out of Waterloo for a short amount of time. I lived in Chicago for 6th and some of 7th grade. Then I came back here in 8th grade. And Waterloo is all I know. And Waterloo is my heart. Okay. And I'll tell you this. I I almost like I was my passion was gone. Passion was gone because I felt like I've been fighting this battle trying to support students and I'm fighting it alone because nobody don't want to take a stand and stand. Now don't get me wrong. It's some, I know teachers. I know teachers who still take stands and they will voice what they say and they will stand up. I know principals who will, but I know some that got shut out and blacklisted and treated so badly because they were vocal and they, I know, and they had to leave and teachers had to leave. Um, you know, and it's not just an Iowa thing. I know people everywhere across this country, and this is it's a common thing, common thing. And so I ended up applying. Didn't think it was like I was the person told me about it on the day it was going down. So I was like, I just email HR because I know the game. I know how they do it. Like, I don't want to waste my time because I've been doing this for 13 years and I know how the game works. Trust me. If y'all want to have conversation about me, about it, holler at me. I know how the game works. I'm not going, I don't want to tap dance and do all this preparation when you got somebody already in mind because school districts will post a job but they already got the position filled. They just doing it because it's logistics. And so they go through the motion making all these young people who worked hard to prepare and really coming in and got high hopes and stuff like that, but they got somebody in mind. So you wasted their time and my time. I mean, if you on an interview committee too, you know what I mean? And so I emailed her. I just kept it real. I said, hey, listen here. I won't say her name, but it's in Des Moines. So and I said, "Listen, ha do y'all have you all filled that position? Do y'all have somebody in mind? Because I wanna apply, but if you do, I don't wanna waste my time." And she said, "No, apply." So I spent all night trying to apply, got that in, boom. Next thing you know, called me the next day, boom. Oh, okay. Hey, we want to give you an interview. Um, the executive director of student services and the uh, district culture, climate and culture transformation director, they're going to call you and they're going to kind of just talk with you, do a 15-minute pre-screener. So I did that. They said, well, we're going to give you another. They met with me and then they emailed me. Well, the HR young lady, she called me and emailed me and said they wanted to have set up another interview. I'm gonna send you what you need to be, how you need to be prepared. And so so she sent me the information. It was gonna take 2 hours to do this interview, and so I had to come up with a PowerPoint or slide presentation on the CASEL's 3 signature practices, and and then I had to uh write up an implementation proposal through the whole school district, 6,000 staff members, on how I would implement adult SEL, not with the students, adult SEL within the whole district of 60,000 staff members at 60 different locations. And so I was nervous, and we had a vacation coming up too during that time, and I'm like, I gotta prepare for this. So you know, they did their thing and I prepared and got ready and I just before I how I when you got a lot when you got big things, everybody get a little anxiety. And anxiety is good, because it can push you and make you better. It's just when it just interferes with your day to day. That's when it's a problem. So I had a little anxiety, but what I do is, and maybe I'll post that. I get my dance on. So right before the interview, I'm in my little suit, my little tie and stuff and I'm getting my dance on. And so this is my theme. My theme is Think Like a Man, John Legend song. Man, that's my students know about that. I used to play that all the time. Hey. And so I'm just grooving, getting in my zone and stuff. So I do this 2-hour interview, and they just kind of walk me through. Like they said, they're just gonna have an answer next week, in about a week. They'll reach out to me and stuff. And I was like, okay. And so, you know, Carrie and Nia said they were in the room and they said I did well. Dude, that's awesome. I said, but I ramble because that's what I do. I said, did I ramble? She's like, no. Carrie's like, no, no, you didn't ramble. You did well. I said, okay, good. So I ain't think nothing of it. I was just like, okay, well, it is what it is. I take everything as an opportunity to learn. So I'm like, if I don't get the job, it's an experience for me. So I ended up getting on the treadmill. I'm like, I'm about to work out and just do my thing. Get back. That's my self reflection time because I'm going to reflect on what parts of the interview I did well on and what part I feel like I didn't and what could I've done or said differently. As I'm jogging, I get this call from his Iowa City number. Boom, executive director. Like an hour later, Mr. Barry, yeah, we just want to say, and I got the culture, school culture and climate transformation director on the line. Hey, and we just had, and we just want to say that we really enjoyed talking to you. We liked your plan, and we want to offer you the job. I'm like, what? Like, so within an hour. Now I didn't take the job, and it was, it was gonna be hard. I mean, it was a struggle, financially, because I would have had to, live there 5 days a week. I'm not driving back and forth and stuff like that. Um, And so, it was, hard for, it'd be hard on, it's hard, that's hard on your family, and so it was a difficult time for us during that time, all the way up until I made that decision not to take it. Um, but my point is this: through that opportunity, that's what got me digging deeper into SCL because I realized that it's not just the curriculum. And it starts at the top because what they told me, because when I talked with them during the interview, after I asked some follow-up questions after I interviewed, I asked them like, okay, is it just me involved? I mean, no, they was working on their SEL implementation for 5 years, bringing in people from CASEL, bringing in other SEL coaches and leaders, and the school board. They were working with the school board. The school board was a part of it. So it's in order to implement an effective social and emotional framework, it has to start at the top and go all the way down. And if it's not going to be effective. If you're not doing SEL and you're not addressing the student need, the teacher's need, the 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 whole district need, the community need. The community needs to be involved. They need to be a part of it. They need to be aware of. They need to get to participate. They need to get to come and observe lessons. They need to have resources at home so they know what's going on and know how to work with their kids at home. Because we all got deficits. I've seen principals go into a classroom and yell at a teacher in front of their kids. That means you need some self-management skills and you need to be self-aware. Two LCL things. You need to be aware of your own emotions and you need to be able to control your and manage your emotions. I've heard people in leadership positions say negative things about people of color or people that aren't certified. That's SEL skills. SEL skills is not recognizing that our teachers are struggling. They need support. They're struggling with behavior. They're struggling with everything that's being thrown at them. What are we gonna do? That's SEL skills. We're gonna hit number 5, responsible decision making. We're gonna come up and connect and bring some people in, and we're gonna brainstorm and come up with solutions. We're gonna problem solve. And then we're gonna self-manage and set some goals, a timeline on when we want things. This is our goal by the end of the year or in 3 years. That's CL. We're gonna give our teachers some time to connect. We're gonna bring in people to teach and give information about mental health well-being, or when students are experiencing trauma-informed care. We're going to bring the relationship skills, community partnerships. So if any one of these things are happening, if you're a parent and your kid is in this district, not this district, any district, I'm sorry, I meant any district, every district. They need to. It needs to be a conversation. I'm serious about that. SEL is important, and our kids, trust me, they're struggling. You probably hear from the teachers, and they don't. And and if we can't, if kids can't communicate that with us, if they don't know how, because I've had kids tell me they don't know why they feel what they feel. Probably, and it's disheartening. And as human beings, we should be ashamed of ourselves because these are kids. They're the developmental stage of learning to become adults and good citizens, good for humanity. The most important question to ask your school district is social emotional learning being implemented throughout the whole school district? And I just kind of hit what that looked like, all those areas. The school board, the district executive team meetings, listen, when I'm finished this program, I'm gonna be an SEL consultant. Okay. So because I'm talking about like I want to work with businesses because it's important in businesses too. Because if you want high productivity out of your and out of your employee, you would implement SEL because they're gonna be able to work harder. Trust me, you're gonna be able to make more money. They're gonna be able to problem solve better. They're gonna be more willing to take on challenges and think outside of the box and work with others. Administrative administration professional development. When principals have meetings, SEL should be implemented. I can show you 3 simple strategies to do it. In POCs, I can show you 3 simple. I can show you. School staff professional development, whole school thing, everybody, even the custodian and the food service workers. Everybody is a part of this. I'm real about this. I trust. I'll show you the research. If you want to have a conversation, sit down with it. It should be implemented throughout the whole school day, not just a curriculum time during one class period or one set time or of the day. It can be implemented. It's not the curriculum is one small component of it. SEL is bigger, and it's so many other things you can do throughout the whole school day. Simple things. Some things just take 5 minutes, 2 to 3 minutes. Simple. But people don't know how because you just give them no curriculum. Say, hey, just follow the script, and that's SEL. No, it's not. No, it's not. It helps, but it don't help. You ain't getting a big bang for your buck. You're getting pennies. You're getting pennies on the millions. If your school district is missing one of those components, they're not implementing it effectively, and it will impact your child. And that's just about my. Believe it or not, it is what it is. It will impact your child, and it's going to have lifelong impact. Lifelong impact that you're going to have to. You as parents going to have to. The school thing gonna have to. The school thing gonna have to deal with it. You're gonna have to deal with it because once when they leave us or their school district or not my kids, because my students, whoever connect with my students, we still got connections because I'm in your life forever, and because I know how to build relationships when I care. I'm a student advocate. That's what counselors do. Advocate for students. We look at the whole child, not just one component. We know that things are going on outside, and we're gonna try to support you with that. I'll pause this for a minute because last time I was in this, my battery died, and I know it's about to die now. And I ain't gonna be getting in that mess I got last time. Okay. Okay. We'll see if this make it through. I'm sorry if it don't. But the bottom line is this, as y'all can see, passionate about schools and stuff like that, you know. Self-awareness is a component of consciousness. And consciousness is one of the master keys to success. All right. Consciousness is awareness of one's body and one's environment. Now, think about a baby. When a baby is first born, that baby can't can respond to people. That baby can recognize objects and the things within the environment. But that baby's not self-aware. I mean, that baby don't know that they're a human being. They don't know that the babies don't know that they're babies. During that stage, they have no self-awareness. But as they get older and they begin to understand gender, skin, and hair color, height, and weight, they are starting to develop some self-awareness skills. All right. Turn this off right here. I gotta get real. They're starting to develop those self-awareness skills. And as they get older, they begin to notice that their friends got the nice clothes that are name brand clothes, and they don't. They begin to recognize the kids who get the best grades. And those kids get called on all the time by the teacher. But they don't call on them now. They recognize that the kids who always do well on tests and always get the best grades, they always pick the leadership jobs in the classroom or within the school. They recognize when a kid that is a different color than them and they exhibit the same exact behavior as they did, the teacher responds differently. The teacher has a little bit more compassion for that student who is the same color as the teacher. When you're a student, you have these experiences over and over again. You start to internalize them. You think to yourself, I'm not pretty. I'm always going to be fat. I'm always going to fail tests. I'm not smart. My my teacher always yells at me and kicks me out of class when I do something wrong. But when student B does something wrong and the same exact thing I did, the teacher might give him a look. She might tell her to be quiet. Then we get kicked out of class or yelled at. I'm a bad kid. May as well just be bad. I had a great day today. My teacher didn't even recognize it. My teacher didn't say anything. My teacher didn't even notice. Why should I care? Why should I behave? No one cares about me. I'm worthless. I'm stupid. No one cares what I do. No one cares how I feel when I do good. I'm not good at anything. Teaching self awareness skills is vital to school. It is our role as educators to help students strengthen their social and emotional learning skills. When students are self aware, they recognize the strengths and their weaknesses. It's important to recognize both. They take their strength and transfer that into other areas in their lives, in other classrooms, and other extracurricular activities. They use their strengths to help others. They don't let material things like name brand clothes or failing a test define who they are and what they're capable of because they have a growth mindset. They know that if they fail, they're going to learn how to figure that out and improve. That's what growth mindset is. They thrive when they're challenged. They like to be challenged. Failure doesn't exist in their mind. It pushes them to grow and develop so they can be successful. That's growth mindset. That's self-awareness. When they fail a test, they look within themselves and see what they did wrong and see what they can do different. They talk to the teacher and ask to retake the test because they believe in themselves and they believe they can do better. Self awareness is recognition of that consciousness. Not only understanding that one exists, but further understanding that one is aware that one exists. It's a recognition of consciousness. It's when we not only understand the environment that we in and that our body in, we understand how we can contribute to that. Dr. Joe Dispenze, he was a former chiropractor, but he lectures around the world on neuroscience, quantum physics, and brain and heart coherence. In one of his lectures, he said, most of our thoughts come from our past experiences. He said, our brain is a record keeper of all the things we have learned and experienced throughout our whole life. When we have life experiences, he said, our five senses kick in: our sight, our hearing, our smell, our taste, our touch, and they engage in the environment we in during that time. He says we process that information and it rushes back to our brain and it creates a chemical, this chemical that we call emotion. And when we have these experiences, they become long-term memory. I want to share a quick story with you. When I was in second grade, we were learning about the Civil War. So our teacher asked us, did we have any grandparents who fought in the war? Other kids were sharing about their grandparents and what war they served in. When she got to me, I said my grandfather served in World War II. She looked at me and said, with a frown on her face, your grandpa couldn't have served in World War II. He wouldn't have been old enough. I remember feeling like my teacher didn't believe me. I remember looking around the room. Kids were staring at me. I was embarrassed. I was crushed. I felt stupid. I felt like a liar. Now, realistically, now the whole class probably wasn't looking at me. I mean, I was a cool kid. I mean, that's just who I was. Okay. But some of them was, but some of them probably didn't even pay attention or think about that because they are kids, you know. But it doesn't matter what was really happening at that moment. What matters is what I perceived that was happening at that moment. It was real to me. I felt the whole class was staring at me. I felt like they thought I was a liar. I felt like they thought I was stupid for not knowing what war my grandfather was in. That day when I went home, my grandfather, daddy, the man who provided for me, the man who never raised his voice. That's just who he was. The man who had the best smile and would do anything for anybody. And I mean anything. I remember when I was a kid, the Cattle Congress came around every year. And back in those days, you know, they when they go to town, sometimes they'll pick up random people who needed a job, and these random people, which is really crazy and unsafe when we think about it in this day and age. They would work to operate the rides and things like that. Just one of the men that was a drifter knocked on our door, on my grandmother's door, and asked could he sleep on the porch. My aunts wasn't feeling it, and you know, of course, as kids, we wasn't feeling it. We like, who is this man? You know, we went, no, we, mama and daddy, that's what we call them. We call our grandparents, mama and daddy. No, we don't. No, and my aunts, of course, they wasn't feeling that either. I mean, it's kids in the house. That's unheard of this in this day and age, but it was a different time, a little bit safer back then. My grandfather and grandmother said he could sleep on. We had this swing. It was a metal swing, and it was about the size of a love seat. And they let him sleep on the porch and stuff. Okay, they gave him a pillow and a blanket. And when we had dinner, after everybody ate dinner, mama and daddy took him a plate of food out. That's the type of people my grandparents were. They were helpers. They were givers. They believed in their savior, and they asked. What would he do in this situation? That's what my grandfather was. He was my hero. And I left school. That teacher made him not my hero anymore. He was just a man that was my daddy, who I thought just made up a story. Because that's how much time and that's how much influence teachers have on kids. Because although we present with our families more, we're interacting with our teachers and students more than we're with our own family. And so she made me believe that my grandfather didn't fight in the war. She took my Superman away. She took my incredible Hulk away. He was no longer a strong former soldier. I didn't see my Black Panther as a king of the household who would fight for his country and fight for others' freedom. He wasn't that no more. He was just daddy, my teacher. Those words took that from me. He made me question the man I love and question who I was and who I would become in my future. Now, I ain't share that story with nobody, like none of my family members, nobody. I didn't talk about that story till I was an adult, till I was an adult. And I talked about it with my cousin because my cousin had a similar experience. He shared a deep conversation with me because we had these conversations. We thought alike and we love to have these deep intellectual conversations, these real world conversations and stuff like that. And so, and we would call them sessions. All right. We connected on that level. So one day we was having one of our deep sessions, and he shared a story about his childhood experience in school. He remembered being in elementary school watching the movie Roots, and that's based on Alex Haley's novel. And he said to me, "Cuz I hate Roots. I remember being in elementary school watching that movie and being so angry." And he shared with me as he watched that movie and he saw the way Black people were being treated and portrayed in that movie. That day he wished he was white. Wow. Man, that's powerful. That's powerful right there. I felt him. I'm sure many Black kids growing up in the 80s and before the 80s, at some time or another, wish they was white because of the experience and the trauma that they've been through, that our people have been through. I bet some adults to this day, like in this day and age, have wish they wish they were white. Now I kind of look differently when I say that, but I bet this when they didn't get that interview or that job they really wanted, hmm, when they got passed up for a less qualified white person, when they got pulled over by the cop for going 8 miles over, but just last month they was riding with their white friend or colleague. They were going 13 to 15 miles over the speed limit, and when the police stopped them, they give them a pass. They give them a warning. When your boss look through you at work and you're not and like you're not there, you don't exist. Like what you say and the input in your ideas that you share is not valuable. They're not even considered, not even thought twice about. When you've been at your job for 20 years and people questioning the work that you do, they got younger white people checking your work when you've done things and you've been qualified and you've done it over 100 times. But this new person come in because they don't trust the work you do based on the color of your skin. And they never did your job. They don't even know about it. They don't even know how to do it. But they still got somebody checking behind you. Hmm. When your boss go behind your back and tell somebody else to not be around you because you're trying to help another employee, they're gonna get you in trouble because you got some concerns about things that need to be addressed. Hmm. When they have you interview for a job and you the only black person and you see the other five white person and sitting there and you already in your mind, no, you ain't gonna get that job. And hey, guess what? They prove you right. And they tell you the same thing that's a common theme that you heard from the past five interviews that you had. The same story. This this is life you step into when you're born, especially of a person of color. It's called complex trauma. It's called complex post traumatic stress disorder. If you want information on it, let me know. Email me. Harmonic Love 369 at gmail.com. I'll send you. Read it yourself. Read what it is. It's real. But you keep hope. You believe change will come. Although you continue to be treated the way you've been treated day after day, week after week, month after month, year after year, you still show up and give your all and be the best and do your job well. Still have you still have the compassion. I mean, excuse me, the passion. You still want to be there and be the best. But do people show you compassion? Do they take the time to support you, put you in a position to thrive and be successful? Do the kids get that opportunity? Do parents get the opportunity to be heard and be a part and not left to feel stupid in meetings about their kid or avoid it because they're asking some serious questions and they have some, but oh, you the problem parent. You the problem. Have you ever felt like that parent? Mom, dad? Like when you got a call, like people trying to avoid you because you want to know about your child? They trying to act like and talk to you like you the problem? Like what your thoughts are just inconceivable. My point is this. I always tell people, regardless if the parent is wrong, regardless if the student is wrong, regardless if the teacher is wrong, it's about perception. So if they perceive they're right, if they perceive their concern is valid, you got to recognize it. Just because you don't believe it, that don't is real to them. So now let's address it. And how can we address it? So you ask yourself why self-awareness is important. This is why. We have to have it. It makes us more resilient to the struggles and the adversaries we face in our daily life, and we all do. And struggle is not immune to anybody, regardless of what gender you are, regardless of what race you are, regardless of what gender you identify with, regardless of what religion you are. It doesn't make a difference. We all face challenges and we all have to be aware, have self-awareness skill to be able to deal with those challenges and become resilient and rise above. It makes us stay strong and confident in ourselves and our skills when people try to beat you down and try to take away from you what you know you're capable or try to tell you who you are or what you can do, but not even knowing you. Sometimes people don't even, and it happens with our kids all the time. They take the opportunity to know the kids. They just heard a kid was bad, or the kid came from a school that they think is bad, or the kid's a certain color, or the kid got a certain family last name. In the real, in the real, you might you might you might go to a new department at your job, and you might have had a situation where you challenged somebody about what they were doing. They weren't doing right, but they weren't doing right. They weren't doing the job right, or they weren't doing the job ethically. And then you challenge them, but they been at the job longer than you, or even less than you, but they look different than you. And so most of the time, them people believe people who looks like them. A lot of the time. I'm saying all the time, but it is what it is. If you can't have the hard conversation and look within yourself and own it, because if it ain't you, you won't be mad. You won't take it personal. I don't take nothing personal. Even if it was me, I would look within myself and say, person, I've seen this, or I might have done this. Let me think. Am I doing this? Let me learn. Let me recognize. Let me bring my people in. Let me bring my staff in, and let's talk about this. Let's have a real conversation. Let's hear from the people that look different. Let's hear from the kids that get treated differently. Let's give them a voice. See what's really going on in their head. Adults, we need the self-awareness skills. We need it because we are more confident. We believe in ourselves. We know our capabilities and our limitations. We are honest with ourselves and others. We are assertive. We value ourselves and others. We show compassion for what we believe in and what's right. We as- we as, we aspire to fulfill our goals, but also we inspire others. We reflect on ourselves, on what we did right, what we did wrong, how we can learn, how we can grow, how can we develop, and we continue to grow and be better because we recognize that we're in a world that is continuing to change and look different. Elementary, elementary, Roshan Berry. When I was in second grade, I wasn't self-aware. I let a teacher tell me about my hero and his accomplishment. But the adult, Roshan Berry is though. I know who I am. I know my strengths and I know my weaknesses. I'm upfront and I'm assertive. I'm in school for the third time for a second master's degree. I got an administration endorsement. I got a BA in elementary education, and I'm probably gonna go get a doctorate in education degree because my instructors, my professors at at national keep telling me, all of us, not just me, all of us, that we should do it. We need to do it and it's important, you know. So I'm probably gonna go back, and I always say I'm not gonna go back, but I probably will. Okay. But the reason why I do these things because I love learning. I believe in it, and I believe in self improvement, and self development. And I refuse, I refuse to let kids fail in school because I didn't want to do the work. I refuse. I refuse not to confront someone, regardless of what position they in, their title, about doing what's best for kids. I refuse to. I refuse. I refuse to sit silently while things happen. That if parents or the community knew these things were and they were aware of some of the things that's happening, trust me, they won't change to be made. And it can look it can look many ways. If we are if we as teachers remain silent and don't advocate for students, don't advocate for ourselves. If you, as an administrator, remain silent and don't advocate for students and don't advocate for your building staff, if you, as district leaders, remain silent and don't advocate for everyone that steps in your school doors and try to provide the best support, sorry, so your school district can be the best in the world. I'm just gonna keep it real. Come off hard, but it is what it is. You complicit in the failure of your students, your staff, your school, your district, and your community. And it is what it is. I'm not scared to say it. because I'm conscious, I'm aware. I know that me being an educator, like I said, me being me being a father, me being a husband, me being a friend, me being a cousin, me being a grandson, me being a nephew, me being a board member, that don't define who I am. But what defines me is when I stand up for the people that don't have a voice. And I care about my community, my my city, my state, my country, my world. And I care about the development and the future of humanity. That's what's important. We got away from that because we lost who we are. We lost our way because we don't want to pick up a book. We want to take the easy way out. We don't want to be self-aware. We don't want to learn how what humanity was here for. And so that's why we see war. That's why we see people homeless. That's why we see people with no health care. And we okay with it. But when we implement a true social emotional learning framework, starting at the elementary level with the adults, with the all the way from the top to the bottom, and we do this all the way through kids go to school, then it's going to naturally transfer into every profession, and then our world will be better. Our world will be better. We as teachers, school counselors, strat support staff, continue to hear these words and phrases in education, in the education field. That and it inspires us. It gives us hope. It makes us believe that change is gonna happen. All kids can learn. Differentiated instruction, multi-tier system support, equity, cultural responsible curriculum, PBIS, leader in me, restorative practices, love and logic, shared vision, culture and climate, collective efficacy. And man, we hear all these many different things, and those words have power. Those words are powerful. But ask yourself, parents, I advise you to watch this with your kids. If you want, I think you should. Kids play a vital role. Kids are smart. Our kids are smarter than what people think, and it's difficult. And it's difficult to be a kid in our time. Our world was simple. It's challenging for these kids, so it's important that we focus on their self awareness. They have access to so much. I remember used to go having to drive up to a payphone and put quarters in there. They can get everything in a matter of heartbeat. It's challenging to be a kid, to be able to have access and people be able to come at you in a matter of heartbeat. And it is people that you don't know. It's hard. We gotta have empathy for compassion. Yes, Snapchat is bad. Yes, yes, but guess what? This is the world we in. And how can we continue to say we can't control Snapchat? We can't. We can't control what happens out there. Parents, you gotta take action. I trust me. My daughter it's in there. My daughter got a flip phone because she wasn't doing what she was supposed to do with her homework. She got a flip phone. She don't even take it. She don't even she won't even take it to school. She would rather not have a phone than that flip phone. Hey, I'm taking action. You not gonna be if you want to have the privilege to be able to have social media, you got to be responsible in school. So you got to hold your kids accountable. But the bottom line is this: it's still hard to avoid. And so, regardless, it does trickle into school. So, what are we going to do to address it? Anybody taking the time to bring people in who specialize in responsible social or internet use or internet safety? Has anybody about parenting? Has anybody put out newsletters on ways to support parents and kids when it comes to this? Has anybody did any teaching besides a counselor who can't come in all the time when you're one counselor with 3 to 500 kids, depending on where you are. Has anybody did that? Worse, it's difficult to be a kid. I wouldn't want to be a kid in these days. I wouldn't. It's very challenging. Only way I would be want to be a kid. The only reason why I would want to be a kid because I would do some things. I would have to go back in time with at least most of the knowledge that I have now, and I would have done a lot of things different. But that's the only reason why I want to be a kid. It's hard to be a kid right now. So we gotta have compassion and empathy for a kid and engage and talk to them. Talk to them about and learn and engage in what they're interested in. Because what does it all mean? What does these words mean? It means nothing if you don't believe in it. It means nothing if we don't care about the well-being of our students and staff. You can't tell me you value me, but you keep putting more on my plate. You can't tell me you support me when I because you don't support me when I need support and I ask for support. And I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about teachers and staff. You don't give one, you don't get one, teachers don't get one damn day to themselves where they can just connect with their team about life, about their kids at home, about the stress that they're dealing with. To get to know that, not hearing people complain, but connecting and knowing somebody feels the way they feel. And now they can lean on each other and provide the supports for one another. You just keep putting more on people's plate. People going through things at home. And some teachers keep their stuff personal. I know I was going through something. And when I walked in that door, my kids didn't know it because I walked in that door for the kids and supporting the kids. And it's not their responsibility. It's not fair for a kid to have to take on my pain, my hurt, what I'm going through with my family. They don't have to take on that. I got 3 family members at one time that had some serious traumatic illnesses last year. And I got to walk in there, but I do want to feel supported by, I do want to feel supported by my, my, uh, my colleagues, which oh my goodness, we had great support within our neighborhood because this is why SEO is so important. In April 2016, I had a stroke, rare tumor on my aortic valve. Devastating. Scariest time in my life. The only way to address it was surgery, open heart surgery. I had some great people. My wife was sick about it. She was sad. My daughter, they were sad about it. Like they couldn't believe it. And we had people in our neighborhood had was socially aware, had the relationship skills, had empathy, and they came together and made meals, even though they know Carrie could have made meals. They didn't want her to have to worry about that. They wanted her to take care of me and make sure she can take care of her daughter. That's what that's what they did. And so they coordinated meals for every day for a week. That's 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 SEL. That's great neighbors. That's self and social awareness and relationship skills and responsible excuse me, responsible decision making and self management because they got their own families and they had to plan it, set goals, set a time frame. They had to organize it. This is SEL. And they had compassion and empathy. When Carrie was going through breast cancer, and my cousin was going through breast cancer, and my dad, all within 2 weeks apart, get diagnosed. My best friend passed away in April of colon cancer. Our neighbors came over, helped her. My colleagues. I didn't know so many women like this. I see the commercials, but it made me more aware and engaged in it and doing research and learning just because what she went through. And then my colleagues a lot of my colleagues been through it. It was so many women in my neighborhood who has had it or who has known somebody who had a family member and they supported, called, contact, reached out, brought food over. Her aunt, every week she went to chemo. When 1 week was down, she left something at the door. That's why SEO is important. It makes us better humans. And we won't continue to go and forget where we come from. Because that's what happened. See, and that's what I was going to tell you. Because I said I was going to tell you something. I come back to it earlier. See, if I was a district superintendent, this is what I do. I would make it mandatory. In order for you to work, even including myself, what we're going to do is we're going to go into that classroom. If you're not certified, you're going to go in there and support. If you were a former teacher, you're going to go in that classroom and you're going to teach for a week. You're going to teach for a week to bring you back to why you got in this business, to bring you back to know what our teachers deal with on a day-to-day basis. That's what I would do. Because when you get in those positions, that's why I want to be a principal no more. Because you get disconnected. You get disconnected. And for me, I'm gonna say what's on my mind. If it ain't right for kids, I don't care if you don't like it. I don't care if you don't like it. That's on you. That's on you. You have to build up your self-awareness skill so you can be able to take feedback. That's what you have to do. I don't. I'm just telling you how I feel. Don't take it personal. I don't feel like it's best for kids. And I'm going to take a stand for it. And the people that's silent, you're complicit. I'm just sorry. I'm being real. It is what it is. Because these are kids. They deserve to have a future. They deserve to have a life. But they also deserve to feel cared about. They also deserve to feel valued. They also deserve to be who they are, and they also deserve to celebrate their differences. And they also deserve to question when they feel like they've been done wrong. And that's just the bottom line. I know I'm talking and going on too long, but I'm serious. I'm just passionate about this. SEL makes us better. It just makes us self awareness is part of that consciousness that's inside, and that's a gift when you are conscious. A lot of people ain't. A lot of people aren't. So, if you, I'm gonna wrap it up. I just want to say this real quick though. This is something that hold on. See, this. I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna pause this for a second because I got my daughter standing right. Come here. Say hi. She don't want to say hi. Come here. Just wait. Nobody on here. Just wait. She want this. She want this. She want that phone back because she got that flip phone and she got to get her hair done and she gonna be in there for a minute and she gonna be bored. All right. All right. I don't know if y'all heard that. I hope not. Hit the hot mess right there. All right. So anyway, I was talking about self-awareness and consciousness. This is not old, And I know I'm talking long, so watch this in parts. Like, don't feel like you got to watch the whole thing, but you need to watch it because it's important. because I want to support everybody, and I want us to learn together. And I want y'all to please, like, if y'all like got questions or things you want me to talk about, I love learning and I don't know everything. I'm not the expert in this. I'm just trying to learn and trying to support and be a better person, a better human being, a better, you know, a better person around the world, to help others. But if you get bored and want to learn more, like I said, I got thousands. Like I said, this consciousness, this stuff been around. This been spoke about tens of thousands of years. All right. The first teacher of this, was the first teacher of humanity. The father of everything we do now is, Thoth, named Tahuti, spelled DH, but Tahuti, which he, which for Greek he's Hermes. They were educators. All the great philosophers who we got to read about in college. They speak this. Confucius, Herodotus, Plato, Socrates, Buddha, Muhammad, Jesus, religious people. This is what they were talking about. But a lot of times people don't even pick up the book to read it. They just listen to what somebody say and don't even understand it because they talk in parable because they had to talk. It's esoteric teachings. That means it's hidden. Exoteric is stuff that you can read in the Bible, but esoteric is we're gonna speak in a code that nobody don't know because we know that if this gets in the wrong hands or certain people, which we see in the world today, they're gonna use it for evil. That's why we got educational gaps. That's why we got socioeconomical gaps. That's why we got people without health care. That's why we got people starving because there are people in the world that knows about this stuff and are using it not for the sake to better humanity. That's why people don't care about global warming. We're destroying our environment. We're dumping pollution in the water, in food. Think about it. If you don't believe me and question any of those names I just said, guess what? Email me and I will tell you the book that's in where they say it at. I will tell you the page number, and it will be more than one. And that's just bottom line. These are things. Da Vinci, Tesla. That's why the Da Vinci Code. He knew. That's why he had to put codes in his work because he knew about this. He knew about the importance of consciousness and human beings striving to support and be better for one another. Tesla, free energy. They destroyed that man. Read it. Pick up the book. Pick up the book. They destroyed Tesla because he wanted to better the world and do it for free. It's time. Hey, mathematics is God's language. I'm telling you, the power of consciousness. So consciousness is an awakening. It's when we see the light inside of us and understand that that light is in every last one of us, and that we all are connected spiritually, but not only connected spiritually, but we're connected universally too. So it's not about being American or being European and Europe or in all these individual countries or African and in all the individual countries within those continents. It's not about that. Universal spirituality. When we care about the all, and the all is our creator. You can't the all is the one. And guess what? One makes up every number. And when you divide one, you get one. When you multiply one, you get one. No, it's powerful. It's serious. It's bigger. And we gotta be better because we're not making the headway like we should. in the world and in education. And we got to be better. Thank y'all for learning with me, listening to me, because I know I go off, but I this like I'm having a conversation. I'm just talking. I'm teaching and talking, and I want to learn too. I want to learn with you. So please jump in. If you want to be on, let me know. I got my home girls about to come on. Try to get on next week. And my mom, I'm gonna think my mom get nervous. So, but there's some other people I'm reaching out to. I want to be on harmoniclove@gmail.com. Sorry about the 369. But it is harmonic love. I think I put a link on here. I mean, I was gonna type it in the box, but I didn't. Okay. But harmonic love 369 @gmail.com. All right. Like, subscribe. Please share how you feel, what you're going through. Share a situation. If you want me to talk about a situation that you're dealing with as an educator or in your workplace, in your work environment, because like I said, SEL is not just about education. It's about you. It's about humanity, a human being, and it translates to all of our every part of our life in our world. I can for sure talk about it, try to answer it the best way I can. And if you want to just come on and talk and just talk and have that's sidebar combo. Let's do it. All right. All right. Remember, check out Castle's website, www.castle.org, and Panorama's website. I'm gonna throw a few people name out there if you want to learn more about like neuroscience and consciousness, and you know more about even the esoteric and esoteric teachings, and even just or about humanity and things like that, or the the purpose, the strength, and the power. For me, it's been, and I last year I didn't talk. Well, I kind of started, but last year I didn't really talk like this. But I've been really on a journey, and I've learned so much, and it's so much that I couldn't believe, and it was documentation after documentation after documentation saying the same thing, maybe a little bit differently, but it said the same thing, and so it just changed my perspective of everything. And so I believe that if I got to do it alone, I mean, all the great leaders, I mean, I'm not great as near as great as them, but I think, you know, if they're going to do it and sacrifice themselves, Jesus, the main one, you know what I'm saying? Martin Luther King did it. And there's other great leaders, Malcolm X, they did it because they want what's right in the world. Somebody got to take a stand. Somebody got to be the person. I'm going to be that person. And if you want to have a conversation about it, contact me. We can do it on a show. We can do it privately. I can come to you. Positive psychology. Go there. They got a lot of good information on self awareness. They got actually a self awareness booklet. Um, I just ordered it. I haven't looked through it yet. I think and it's an ebook that comes to you. So I think there's a couple different ones. Check that out. If you want to know about SEL, read your Bible. It's in there. Read your Holy Quran. Read your Torah. Read your books on voodoo. Read your books on Wiccan. It's all they all say the same thing. It's just a little bit differently. And if you're conscious and aware, you will understand that some people is in some people' best interest, even in professions, and whatever career you in. Some people do things for their that's in their best interest, and not in the best interest of the students or the staff or your colleagues at your job, for the betterment of the the community, the county, the city, the state, the country, the world. It is what it is. But we got to be better. All right, holler at me if you need anything. I'm Roshan Berry. Thank you. I'm sorry that I'll be rambling, but guess what? You got to deal with it. I'm keeping it real with you. Um, Please, parents, hit me up. Okay.
I think next week is the week I'm going to talk about 504s and uh, IEPs and some supports and things like that, and things that parents need to know. They won't all be this long, okay? But watch it in parts. You don't got to watch it all. I've watched stuff. I'll be watching stuff and some things like 2 hours long. Joe Rogan, he like 3 hours. Him and Neil deGrasse and some of his Graham Hancock now, they went 3 hours in. Of course, he has somebody else on, but I'm just talking to y'all. I'm acting like y'all here. As above, so below, as within, so without. Love y'all. Take it easy. Love everybody.